Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 6 of Toilet Thoughts, coming at you kind of live but not live at the same time. We're here, we're ready to do it. Toilet Thoughts starts right now. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to episode 6. I apologize for my lack of appearances, my absence. I kind of took some time to just think about, what the show's going to look like. That's why I was kind of putting out episodes fast, put out the first 5 episodes within the week. And so that was just to, try it out and see how I feel about it. I feel pretty good, but I think I'm going to slow down the rate, definitely, in which I put videos out, just to keep the anticipation up, just kind of work out a plan for, probably once every 2 days or something like that. Something along those lines. But yeah, without further ado, let's dive into it. So recently, as you guys all know, COVID has closed down some of our favorite restaurants. But they are starting to reopen again, which is amazing. Congrats to all the restaurants that are able to get outside. Situations and stuff like that. Good for you. I'm glad you guys are able to stay open and stay occupied. But the one thing that I was thinking about on the toilet the other day was when I went to Taco Bell the other day. And I personally am kind of still sad that Taco Bell itself isn't opening its doors and that I only have to go through drive-thru. And that's for one reason alone. I go through the drive-thru, their food is great. I'll get 100 quesadillas, whatever. But when it comes to the drink, I've gotten to the point, I am so cheap. If you know me, you know that. But I'll get a large Baja Blast, no ice, because ice is a total scam. And then when I get home, I'll put ice in it. But that wouldn't have to be the case if the doors were open. And I know, things aren't permitting, and that's perfectly fine. I just want to talk about, if the doors were open, what situation I'd be in, which would be a great situation. Because when the doors to, say, McDonald's, a Wendy's, Burger King, or Taco Bell, or even some of the other ones like Panera, are open, and you get the meal, you get the drink, you don't even have to get a large drink, because you drink all that medium drink, and then you know what? You go refill it, right? And that's what I love about the inside of a restaurant. And also, the new restaurants, the the fast food restaurants that have you can order on the tablet. Those are awesome because you can customize your own food and stuff. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's what I miss, the tablet things, but then also the drinks station. Because, okay, so here's what I do. So you order a Taco Bell, right? And they give you the drink first, or if they don't, I'd be like, hi, can I get my drink? I'm a little thirsty. They'd be like, sure, get some drink or whatever. I'm like, okay, thank you. Which is perfect. And so I get the drink, and I take a few sips while I'm waiting for my food, right? A few sips is like half the drink. And then I get my food, they're like, Adam? And I'm like, yeah, I'm right here, give me my food, thank you. And then so I take it back, I go sit down, and it's like a ratio. Every bite of the food is 2 sips of the drink. So, and then I'll slurp the drink, twice as much. And then I'm halfway through the food, but I'm already done with the drink, so I get a refill. This is how you get your money's worth, right? Because if you start drinking more of the drink, then your price per cup starts going down. You start getting your money's worth. It starts adding up, and it's the math behind it. I'm a nerd. The math behind it is great in my opinion. But yeah, you have half your food left, right? So 50 quesadillas, and then you'd have a full drink. It's like magic. Boom. And then you'd eat the food and drink the drink equally the same, but then you're like left with like a third of the drink left, and you're done with the food and you're about to leave, and then you just straight gulp the third of the drink down, so then you can get another refill. That's like 3 drinks for the cost of one. Let's be honest. And that's what I miss about the being inside of a restaurant, because I can't do that anymore. You know how good Baja Blast tastes? It tastes very good. It tastes like, if I were to describe Baja Blast in words, I would describe it as a trip to Florida, just laying on the beach with the coconut tree on your left, even though it does not taste like coconuts. But you know that tropical taste that just like tastes like tropical, like there's a coconut tree next to you? That's what Baja Blast tastes like, but in Mountain Dew form, so it's even better. Anyways, no matter what restaurant it is, I still miss doing that. McDonald's, you drink the whole drink, you get a refill, you do that 3 times, boom. It's a $1 drink too there, so it's perfect. But that's just the cheap side of my life talking to you right now. But yeah, I bet every single one of you does that when you go eat inside a drink or eat inside a restaurant. Don't tell me you don't, because I know you do. But anyways, this reminded me. Okay, so one time I got Taco Bell and I went home and ate at home. It was very good. Everything was good. No ice in my Mountain Dew. Just how I like it, 100 quesadillas, etc., etc. But I'm sitting in in one of our couches in my house, and I look to my right, and recently my dad got a bird feeder, which has been cool to watch the birds. Shout out to my bird watchers out there. But I was watching, and I looked at the bird feeder. You know what I see? Not a bird, not a chicken. Nah. It was a squirrel. And I have a video of that. I'm going to play that right now. Yo. This is why we have no more bird food. We filled this up 2 days ago. And that is, it looks like a squirrel or a chipmunk. Bro. Hold up. Ready, hold up. Who are you talking to? Yeah, that's right. No, you'll spot. Where you at? Yeah, where you at, little guy? Where'd you go? Where you at? I just saw you. Stay away from my hood. Don't touch. This is why we have no more bird food. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there was a squirrel in our bird feeder. Now, how it got there, I have no idea. My mom looked it up, and she said that it could have jumped from the nearby tree. And if it did, then it's very athletic and should join the Olympics. Or it could have just dipped its hands in honey and climbed up the pole that's holding it. I don't know. There's lots of ways to get up to that bird feeder. But I think now we know why there's been so little bird seed in our bird feeder. Because in the past week, every 2 days, we would fill this bird feeder to the brim. Like, all the bird seed that you could put in that little bird feeder was in there. But then it would always deplete. Like, 2 days, boom, refill it. I mean, maybe, and we thought maybe, the birds were just hungry and that no one else was feeding them in the neighborhood and that they were telling their friends from neighboring cities or something to come hit us up. Which, if that's the case, fine by me. But from my experience, I haven't seen too many birds there, like, at once. It's always been just one bird, and then, like, an hour later, another bird. That type of thing. But this squirrel thing makes sense, because, they're, like, they can eat more. And then, with the nuts, like how I don't think this is real, or maybe it is. But they can store like nuts in their cheeks, maybe, and that's what they do with the seeds. But anyways, that explains a lot because they're kind of big animals and they can fit a lot of food in there. And so now we know why there's been so little bird food, because not only are the birds eating it, but the squirrels are eating it too. But that also begs the question, what's so bad about that? What's so bad about squirrels eating of a bird feeder? I mean, like, you're still watching nature, right? You know what? I think I'm going to be the inventor of a squirrel feeder. Ooh, Steve Jobs. Oh, it's already a thing. It's already a thing. But anyways, um, yeah, squirrel feeder. I guess there's multiple groups of people who like to watch different animals eat, which is interesting, right? Because you hear bird feeders and you hear a lot about them. Oh, it's just casual. We have a bird feeder out there. You never really hear we have a squirrel feeder out there because a lot of times they're looked at as pests, which is interesting, right? Because I mean it's all nature, and why don't you just let them eat from the same thing? Which might, because in the moment of that video that I showed you, I was like, that's for the birds. But you know what I should have done was just be like, it's for nature. Even though it's called bird feeder. It's alright. You know, everyone eats. The whole team eats, right? The whole team eats. Um, but yeah, I thought I was a genius thinking of a squirrel feeder, but I wasn't. I was not. Someone beat me to it. And I'm guessing a long time ago. But anyway, circling back to toilet thoughts, recently, if you watched my interview with my brother, the professional Boy Scout, you learn that we took a trip and we stayed in this Airbnb where this guy had an underground arcade. Not underground, but it was in the basement, which was really cool. Um, but I've recently found an interest in pinball machines, right? And, when it's not a term, but when you go window shopping, but there's no window and it's just through your phone, but you don't have the money. That's what I've been doing. I've been looking at pinball machines, right? And so you'll find ones for $500, but then you look closer and they're from like the 1970s, and they're like, there's nothing to do in a pinball machine. Like you just hit like the little buttons. I mean, for someone who's like a pinball enthusiast, you might like be in love with those. Don't get me wrong. But those are kind of boring to me. I like the ones where there's like a story behind it and like a theme, and there's like a lot of like electronical parts, like a lot of physical movement to it. Which is one of the ones that we touched on in that earlier episode. But yeah, I think what's cool about a pinball machine is just or the modern day ones. I don't know about the older ones, but maybe if I find appreciation in the modern day ones, then I'll find more appreciation in the older ones. But anyways, in the modern day pinball machines, what I really like about them is that like they're so intricate, right? It's like a computer, but a different kind of computer. If you know me, I'm kind of a computer geek in terms of connecting different things together, making them work. But yeah, just how it's it's a computer, but it's a different kind of computer to where it operates all these electrical moving parts, and like what also fascinates me about physical pinball machines is how sturdy they are, because you're throwing down this metal ball, it's hitting different things, and most of the time they don't break. So that's what also fascinates me is how they get this strong material to be able to hold this ball for thousands, millions of different plays by different players. I think that's pretty cool too. But yeah, recently I found a interest in pinball machines, right? And I could borrow money and get one of those cheaper ones that I was talking about earlier. But then I decided to pursue this dream in a different take, if you will. And one of the things that I came across while I was looking at different videos of pinball machines while I was taking a poo was that there's virtual pinball machines that exist, where it's basically just a TV, right? And then it's an actual computer inside of the what looks like a pinball machine case. And what these guys are doing is pretty interesting because they take this big TV and they place it where the pinball machine would be. But then they don't stop there. What they do and what I hope to do, because I have a TV that I don't really use, that's in my room because I use my computer most of the time. But it's interesting what they do is they take the real buttons that you'd find on a pinball machine, right? And they wire them up to a circuit board that transmits them through USB so it can hook up to the computer. And it's like you're actually playing pinball. But they don't stop there. I feel like I'm in like a promotion commercial thing for OxyClean maybe. But no, it doesn't stop there. A lot of the times they include the spring, the plunger is what it's called, where you pull it back and it shoots it. Yeah, they actually have a real one where you pull it back and it'll show on the screen that it's pulling back. It's really cool. So yeah, they have that, but it doesn't stop there. And this is one of the more geeky sides of me that is fascinated. Is some pinball enthusiasts go so far as to where they take motors, like I don't know what powers it, but I know it's like electrically motorized in a way. But just so when you hit one of the buttons, that it feels like something like you know how like the pinball is like this, right? Well, it feels like something is moving. It kind of creates like a vibration when you hit the button. Now, granted, that creates more of like a opportunity for malfunction in the system, but who cares? It's cool. Like it feels like the plunger is actually or the floppers are actually moving, and so that's really cool. But yeah, I have a TV that I don't use in my room, so I'm going to detach that. I'm going to go to Menards and I'm going to cut out the wood because I know how to do that. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it'll be an interesting project. And I really want like one of those arcade pinball machines in my house because I think it would be pretty cool. And so my plan is to just wire it through the back and have long enough cables to where I can just have my laptop sitting there. Because I have one of those laptops with like a GTX 1060 in it, if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, it's basically a gaming computer, which puts out high graphics. Simplify it. And so I'm going to hook that up to the pinball machine that I'm going to make. And hopefully it looks really cool. But that's the plan right now. If you don't care about pinball machines, I hope you care about them now because I might talk about this another time. But I don't know how long that's been. I probably went way over time. I have no idea. I'll check though. But yeah, sorry for the delay, everyone. I just took some time to think about, how am I going to pursue this podcast with everything that's coming up. Recently, I'm pursuing a internship with t-shirt company Blink Tees. Shout out to them as their media marketing for their social media accounts. So I'm excited to start that. And yeah, and I also started school as well. So I'm just trying to fit everything around that. And make it work. So I think I found out kind of a way to do it, like once every 2 or 3 days. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode 6 of me ranting about Taco Bell and then talking about birds and pinball. Those are 3 different topics, but I hope that you can understand that they all fit in my toilet thoughts idea-ish. But it's been fun. You know, we love to see it when we take a long time to talk about our topics. It's just the way life goes. We're rocking with it. That's not COVID. That's on allergy. I wake up with allergies, and I just woke up from a nap. But yeah, that's episode 6. Let me know if you guys want to be on episode 7. I've already got some people lined up for like episode 8, 9, that kind of thing. Or if you want to be on later episodes, I can shift people around. We'll make it work. If you're watching this and you want to be on, hit me up on my Instagram or Snapchat. If you know, you know. That's been episode 6. Bow!